Alright, so the essence of making a good coffee starts with a shot, okay? So, I overflow my group handle, overflow the basket, bang it down a couple of times to get rid of all the air cavities inside there, and then I flatten it straight back into the chamber, okay? I put it straight back in the chamber because I think this grind is good, it's at the right setting, and I can reuse that. Now, with my tamp, okay, put the handle firmly on the bench, get my forearm nice and straight up in the air, lean in with the shoulder, okay? Give it a little tap to get any of those loose grounds on top, and then we go again, all right? And the power is coming from my shoulder up here. It's not coming from the forearm, it's coming from my shoulder. And that's the way to get the most consistency in your tamp, all right? So I'm leaning in, just like that. Now, what I've got here, all right, is a bit of excess coffee on the sides. We don't want to put it into the coffee machine like that because that's going to clog up your machine. You don't want any loose grounds running around inside your machine. Also, the level that we've got the coffee to into the basket there, pretty much right on that rim, all right? Just inside the coffee basket there, we've got a little rim about 4 or 5 mil down, and that's where I want the coffee to be, right all the way around, okay? It's a really nice, even, flat tamp, okay? Now, put that into the machine. This one I'm going to do a double shot. I press the button straight away. Then I put my cups underneath. I can see that's pouring a beautiful coffee, all right? Just dripping out nice and slowly. It's a really nice, dark, rich crema that's coming out, and that's perfect. Now, you would have noticed when I put the group handle into the machine, I press the button straight away, okay? I don't fiddle around looking for my cups, all right? I put the group handle in, I press the button straight away. And the reason why I do it straight away is because the group head here, that's burning hot, all right? That is absolutely scalding. I can't even touch that. So if I put my group handle in, all right, and I leave that there whilst I'm feeling around for cups or talking to someone or dealing with something else, the coffee starts burning. And if the coffee starts burning, it's not going to taste good. So as soon as you put it in, press the button. You've got probably about 3 or 4 seconds before anything comes out. Enough time to find your cups and get them underneath. All right? So that there I can tell is a beautiful, rich crema colour on top. And that's what we're going for. So that there, that shot, that's the essence and the core of a very good coffee. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do some milk. All right, how to texture the milk. So, today I'm using some Dairy Farmers, all right? Now, I would recommend using a good brand of milk. It doesn't have to be Dairy Farmers, it might be Devondale, it might be Paul's, but it's not Coles, it's not Woolworths home brand. And the reason why I say you don't want to be using Coles or home brand milk is not because I believe the milk here is any better. To be honest, I think the quality is probably about the same. But what it comes down to is perception, okay? Because in a coffee van environment, I've got all my customers behind me queuing up. If they see that I'm using cheap milk, they might think the coffee's cheap. They might think my muffins in the side of the van are cheap. It just doesn't look good, okay? It's probably going to pour just as good a coffee, the milk's going to steam just as well, but I just recommend that you should use a good quality brand of milk. Might cost you a little bit more, but it'll be worth it in the end. All right, so let me show you how to steam some milk. Now, I've already poured my shot. This shot's been sitting there now for about 1 or 2 minutes. That's probably too long, okay? But for today's purposes, I'll make a coffee with it. Normally, you don't want your shot sitting there for any longer than about 30 seconds. Now, to steam your milk, all right, you put your milk in, okay, and I fill it, this is a 1 litre jug, I fill it just below the spout. That's about the right level. That'll pour me probably 3 8-ounce coffees, all right, which is plenty for what I'm about to do. First thing I do, I purge my steam wand, make sure that any of the water that's stuck in there will come out before it goes into my milk, because I don't want that to happen. And then I bury it. I bury the tip of the steam wand into my milk. I've got it facing towards me. I've got my left hand resting on it so I can see what's going on. All right. You might want to use a thermometer, and I'd recommend that you use a thermometer. Today I'm not going to do that just because I know using from my my experience, how hot I need it to be. So I've buried the steam wand in, turn my steamer on fully, all right, and I'm looking at the steamer. It's got a nice whiskey sound going on there. I've got a whirlpool going on in here, and I'm watching my milk really closely, okay? I'm using my left hand to gauge the temperature, and when that's right, I turn it off. And as I turn it off, I keep my right hand still. I don't want to drop it as I'm turning it off. That'll get bubbles in it. That'll ruin my milk, okay? Now, set that down. Get your clean cloth that you only use for your milk, not the one that you use for wiping the bench. Nice clean cloth. Give it a quick rinse straight away, and purge it, okay? Another one, and then put that steam wand back in there. Now, to get my milk ready to pour, bang it out a couple of times, all right? And the reason why I bang it out a couple of times is to get rid of the bubbles that are sitting on top. And then I swirl, all right? I swirl it. Now what that's doing, and I can hear a little airy sound coming out of my milk, the reason why I swirl it is because as your milk settles, you get foam on top, and then you get just the warm milk down the bottom. I want to make sure that's all consistent right through, so I've got to swirl it all the way. Now to pour a coffee, okay, there's a few different ways to do it, all right, and it sort of depends on what I'm making. If I'm making a cappuccino, I want to pour nice and quickly, because when I pour nice and quickly, the froth that's on top comes out first. If I'm pouring a flat white, I want to pour it slowly, okay? And the reason why I pour it slowly is because when you pour slow, it's the stuff underneath that comes out first, and that's the flatter stuff for a flat white. Either way, with this milk here, I could do a cappuccino, I could do a latte, or I could do a flat white. What I want is to keep the jug nice and close to my cup. I tilt the cup slightly towards me, and I pour nice and slowly, okay? This one here is probably going to be a latte. As you can see, nice, beautiful, creamy milk on top, okay? I've still got a bit of the crema around the outside, which is what you want, because the first sip of coffee, you want to be tasting the crema taste. So when you pour, you don't want to pour it too quickly because you don't want to disturb that crema. You want to end up with a bit of crema on top, all right? Beautiful cup of coffee.